All right, guys, let's connect it up. I think we're good. I think we're there. All right. So today, August 2nd, 2020. I think I didn't change that, but that's all right. That's okay. We'll get it going here. August 2nd. That is crazy to think that we are in August, 2 months away from The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 16. Still want to call it the finale because, I don't know what else to call it. And it's interesting stuff. So obviously we're going to talk about The Walking Dead and a bunch of different topics because there's not much Walking Dead news to talk about. But, Q&A is always for you guys. Spoiler warning for all things Walking Dead, show, comics, spin-offs, movies, all that stuff. Spoiler warning if you're watching it on the replay. But, we love to talk about The Walking Dead and various topics. Thank you, Winter, for upgraded membership to level 2 PT Peep. We thank you. Appreciate that, Winter. All my subscribers, my patrons, my members, people just checking out for the first time, thank you for being here. So we'll go from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And I know that I was watching a couple other live streams this morning on YouTube and it looked to be okay. So hopefully we'll be all right with that. It's been a busy couple of days for me, non-related Walking Dead stuff, because there's not really Walking Dead news. We are 2 months away from the return of The Walking Dead on television. And that seems so far away, especially because we've been waiting and waiting. And we're still waiting for the return of The Walking Dead for TV. But when October comes around, it's going to be pretty great. Once we start to get the information rolling in, we start to get some news about it. Maybe we get some spoilers. Maybe we get some news about filming, if they're going to film this, going to film the movies, going to film the show. I'm just not sure what the plan is going forward, but the world is still a crazy place. Hopefully you are safe and sound and everything is okay where you're at. The coronavirus is still around. It's not going to be going away anytime soon, I believe. We just don't know what it's going to be, but there's still limitations and precautions to take. There's still a lot of stuff to worry about, social distancing, wear a mask, just do the things accordingly still, and I think we'll get through it. But more and more sports are coming back, and it makes me wonder if you guys like sports or not. I do like sports, and I like playing daily fantasy stuff, and I like being a part of different things, and, watching basketball. Not really the biggest hockey guy, but, golf, watching that a little bit. But I can't wait for football. And football is going to be coming back. I don't know what's up with the chat, but it seems like I can only see like a couple people. I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube, but hopefully we'll get it figured out. I know I said oh, it's been pretty good, but now it's like I can't really see much on there. So hopefully let me see what we got here. Let me change a couple things. We'll see if we can get there. But thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. So we only have a couple chats. Okay, that's all right. Hopefully we got a bunch of people joining here. We'll go for about an hour on this Sunday, August 2nd, 2020. It's crazy to think that, August is here. We're about 2 months away. And hopefully you guys are excited for it. I know it's going to be here before you know it. I definitely am excited to see where things go. And, I was thinking about it as August 2nd was the day we're in, right? And, we have 12 months in a year. I'm a big fan of the later months, November, December. My wife's birthday's in February. My birthday's in December. My dad's birthday's in October. You have different vacations and things and stuff to look forward to it. Not so much the biggest thing with August. August is kind of one of those months where I'm nah, I'm not really a big fan of it. It's hot. It's one of the hottest months, if not the hottest month in the United States. Hurricane season is in full blown, even though it's June 1st to December 1st. There's a storm coming across the state somewhat in there too. Hopefully it'll be all right with Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, the East Coast. Hopefully we'll be okay, guys, with that. But I know that it's one of those months that we're hurry up. Let's get through August. Then we get to September. Hopefully football sticks around. Hopefully we get to see college football, professional football. Hopefully we'll get to see, where baseball, basketball, and stuff is, and stuff will be wrapping up. October will be here before you know it, right? So if we have to wait till October 4th, and we basically October 2nd, because I'm pretty sure that it's going to be on AMC Premiere that Friday, if they're still going to do that service, which I'm sure they will. But so we're 2 months out. October is a couple days into it, and then we get to see the month. Then we get to see it, right? So hopefully we'll be able to see what's going to happen with the return of The Walking Dead, then Fear the Walking Dead. We'll have World Beyond. We'll have a bunch of different things going around. So let's get through August, then we'll be in September, but then we'll be in October, right? So, we love talking about The Walking Dead here. And, I think about it as, in a zombie apocalypse, if there was to happen, which I doubt it would ever happen in real life, it's fiction. It's something out there, not reality. It's a fictional thing that, what would you do in that type of situation is kind of a fun thing. I love bringing up that stuff because I'm a writer. I think of the question is, what would you miss most in a zombie apocalypse? What would you miss the most about everyday life? Would it be, maybe you have power, maybe you don't. Probably your cell phone doesn't work. Sports, everything's going to be on hold like it was. The food situation is going to be drastically different. It's going to be a different type of world. What would be some things that you would definitely be missing? I think about it too. It would probably be, I would have to go with food, right? Because you can't just go to the store and go get some fast food or go pick up a pizza or go pick up something. You can't do certain things like that, right? So the biggest thing would be that for me. Because if you're with the right people, I think, if you're with friends and family and loved ones, you can kind of make the best of it, right? Like Sheila says, food, fresh food. I agree, right? You could have your potato chips and your, processed foods and your stuff that's in, boxes that has a date on it and the stuff that would be, stuff to be on a shelf for 2 years. Stuff would last. But you wouldn't be able to just go get some fresh pastries or some fresh breakfast sandwiches or something in the morning. It would be kind of crazy because that would be tough to have. And I don't know about you, but I don't have a garden in my backyard. I don't have vegetables in my backyard. I don't have a bunch of things like that. Well, hopefully more and more people are going to start doing that. That'd be pretty cool. How awesome would it be? Kara says, no more Dunkin'. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I know that would be crazy for people, right? I know my stepmom, she loves Dunkin' Donuts. I know my mom loves coffee. My dad, doesn't really drink too much coffee, but he goes to Dunkin' Donuts for my stepmom and this and that. My wife and I, we're not coffee drinkers, but that would probably be a big thing. That's a big thing, Kara. I'm glad you brought that up. So, I think about it as the zombie apocalypse will be tough, but if you're with the right people, you can get through it. And that doesn't have to be friends and family, but if it would be, that would be pretty great. But, some people wouldn't be around there too, imagine if you had to be around your neighbors, right? That was who you were going to be around for the rest of your life or for a significant important part of time. But I don't know if that would be good or bad. Like, I don't really talk to my neighbors too much. I don't really mess with them. I don't really do anything. I say hello and this and that, drive through, but maybe there's some good people, maybe they're not, but I don't know. And sometimes it's, you're stuck with your neighbors. You don't pick your neighbors a lot of time. And sometimes you would have to be it. Xmas Girl 34 says, no more McDonald's sweet tea. Yeah, I don't know how long stuff would last, right? So Mark says, my in-laws are my neighbors. So I don't know if that's good or bad, Mark. So I don't. It's just good, Sometimes in-laws can be great, and sometimes they can be not so great. We'll just go with that with terminology. But so it would be interesting to see how it would be an end-of-world situation, life-changing event, and this is not to that extent, but COVID-19, coronavirus, whatever you want to call it, is definitely life-changing, life-altering. To me, I see what's essential to me, my life, not being around people, I'm kind of okay with sometimes. I'm okay with not being around people day in and day out. You go to the store, right? I was talking about this with my wife when we were going to pick up food yesterday. And, we went to the same restaurant that we went to months ago, and there was more people there by far. The restaurants are open. You can go inside. You can dine inside. The parking lot was full. It's in a big shopping complex, so it was a lot of people. And before, months ago, it was just carry out or curbside pickup. And so we went there, and there was like nobody there. We were like the only car. Maybe there was another car, and it was drastically different. And I was like, man, I liked it when we were the only car here. I kind of liked it when we basically took over the shopping center for a couple minutes. And that would kind of be pretty interesting too. Like, I love the idea of a zombie apocalypse if you and your loved ones or your friends or somebody, right? I think I lost connection, but it's coming back. But I know that if we had the ability to just survive, right? Outlast the zombies and the people and whatever like that too. You basically inherit a lot of stuff. You inherit the area. You inherit so much. You become the kings and the queens and the royalty of an area. You basically take over an area if you survive there too. So you would have to really be just surviving enough. Stay away from people. Let those people, because people are going to be the problem, along with zombies, along with malnourishment, safety, security, food, water, safety, just disease. There'd be a lot of things that you wouldn't think of. Like, it's crazy if you think about The Walking Dead. Those people haven't been to the dentist in 10, 11, whatever, 12 years, right? They haven't been to the dentist ever. I've never seen a dentist in The Walking Dead. And you're like, well, it's a dentist. Who cares? But that's pretty important, right? So many people will be dying of little things that you take for granted now. Medications, prescriptions, disease, just stuff that we don't really take for granted now that wouldn't be there. I hate going to the dentist. I made videos about it. But it's essential. It's an important thing to do that, right? And I brought it up a couple times in different things in a couple of my books. But imagine if you had braces, right? So Xmas Chris says, no more PT vids. A ZA would totally stink, that's for sure. Alex says, hope you get to 100,000 subscribers. Thank you, Alex. I truly appreciate it. We're getting there. We're getting closer. Since The Walking Dead is getting closer and closer to returning, that's when people usually come back to the channel. I don't know why people leave, but people do. They come, they go, they come back, they unsubscribe, or YouTube unsubscribes them or something. And I know that was happening for a lot of people where the person didn't unsubscribe to the channel, but for some reason they were unsubscribed. So make sure you check that. If you're here, you're probably a subscriber, and we truly appreciate it too. So Jeannie says, I prefer the dentist to the eyeball doctor. Well, they both have their pros and cons, but I don't know. Everyone's a little different what procedures they have to have done, but I know that would be definitely something to do there. So basically, medical care is pretty essential there as well. And if you think about it, I know my father-in-law has some stuff, have some medical conditions, and my mother-in-law and my, people are doing okay, but they're getting to the age where you have conditions that you require therapy or require medication or require things there too. So it would be rough for those people too. So it'd be interesting to see. So Jane says, can you imagine having chronic teeth issues with no relief? Exactly. The biggest thing too, Jane, is when you think about it as the Tom Hanks movie, Castaway. He had a toothache, gets on the plane. He's like, I'm going to go to the dentist when I get back. Crash lands on the island, has the toothache problem the entire time until he luckily finds the ice skates and takes out his tooth by pretty much luck, because that would be pretty much a 1 in a million shot to be able to knock your tooth out the way it happened on there. But it's a movie and it is what it is. And I love Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is one of the greatest actors of all time. And if you don't agree, definitely check out the movies and let me know, because I don't really know of too many bad movies he's been in. Some of his movies aren't the greatest, but he has some great movies that are on there. But Castaway made me think about it too, is like, that's why it's so essential to be like, where were you? How were you doing in the start of a zombie apocalypse? Were we be like Rick Grimes in the hospital? Or what if you worked in the hospital, right? That would be kind of cool if you started a zombie apocalypse story and you were following a medical professional that was in the hospital at the time of it. A doctor, a nurse, a janitor, someone going to visit their family, somebody, right? They're in there. They get barricaded in. They have to wait to survive in there. I think that would be pretty cool. That might be a nice spin-off tale story in one of my books. And I think about that stuff all the time, right? Sometimes it's a detriment where I just can't relax. My mind is going, my body is going, my body gets tired, my mind is still going. I'm trying to write and think of ideas and this and that and do stuff around the house and come back and do this and watch sports and come here and vacuum and the cats. And, it's just like, sometimes it's a little too much and I need to take a break. But I feel like if I want to be an independent person and do stuff on my own and have the YouTube channel and the book series and be able to do all that, I have to keep it going as much as I can. And, there's entrepreneur mindset and a hardworking person. They're willing to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week to be working on their own besides putting the 40 hours a week in a job, because that's just how they are and they're going to do that anyway. So it's interesting if you think about that as well. But, hopefully you guys are safe and sound and you're doing okay. I know a lot of stuff is happening around the world, not just the United States, but more and more cases and everything is that. Hopefully we'll be okay with finding a vaccine and we'll be on the right track and, we'll be all right. So hopefully you guys are passing the time. Walking Dead is still, MIA, but it'll be here before you know it too. So it would be interesting if you guys haven't checked out some shows on Netflix. So my wife and I, we watched a lot of Netflix recently, right? So my wife and I, we have this routine. It's kind of funny how you've kind of fallen into this routine. So Alexander Romero asks, will Denai be in more episodes for 10C? Denai Guerrera is not going to be in the Walking Dead TV show. This is her last season. It was her last episode was season 10, episode 13. I don't see Michonne being in that type of thing. I mean, if it is, it would be pretty awesome, but I don't think that was their plan. We'll talk about that, 10C, 10, whatever you want to call it, 10 and a half. We'll talk about those in a little bit. But Netflix, let's get on to the Netflix conversation, and hopefully you guys are watching different things. So my wife and I got this routine. Like, we do stuff during the day, or she works from home and I do stuff around the house. And by like 6, 7, 7:30, around 8 o'clock, we get to the time in our day we're like, all right, what do you want to watch? What do you want to do, right? So we watch stuff from 8 o'clock to around 10 o'clock because, there's a routine for going to bed and the cats and this and that and getting up early. So we watch stuff from 8 to 10 o'clock. So what are you going to do for 2 hours? You can watch a movie. You can watch different shows. So we're watching things on Netflix. We've usually been watching, it's kind of funny. If you guys know the show Supermarket Sweep, it was in the late 80s, early 90s kind of show, and it's a supermarket show. It's a game show, and there's 3 teams, and they have to go, and they compete for time to go around to get groceries to have the most total. And it's definitely an entertaining show. If you've never seen it, I definitely recommend Supermarket Sweep on Netflix because they have some of the episodes on there. Then we've been watching the show Kingdom. It's about UFC, mixed martial arts fighters. Not UFC, they're trying to get to there. It's a smaller gym in California. Frank Grillo is in there. He does a really good job. Nick Jonas, the singer, part of the Jonas Brothers, he's an actor too. He's in there, and they have a couple of different actors, and it's a pretty interesting show. Recently came out Friday is season 2 of Umbrella Academy. If you haven't seen that, definitely recommend Umbrella Academy on Netflix. It's a Netflix original show. It's a comic book graphic novel. I talk about it in one of the videos I posted yesterday, and season 2 came out on Friday, and I recommend that show for you if you like comics, if you like a different kind of show. It's interesting. It's pretty cool. I definitely like it too. So that one, and then we've been watching a lot of Community on Netflix as well, and that was a show on NBC, I believe, and I've only watched a couple episodes sporadically when it was on television, but now we're on season 2 of it, and it's interesting because if you know The Walking Dead, Talking Dead, well, it's, I guess, Talking Dead, Yvette Nicole Brown, who's friends with Chris Hardwick, and she has a notebook, and she's a big Walking Dead super fan. Yvette Nicole Brown's on that show, and she's really great. She's really entertaining. She's really funny. Chevy Chase, a bunch of good actors, Donald Glover, and it's pretty interesting because the Russo brothers, I don't know if they produced it, directed it, something, I can't remember exactly what they do, but they directed or produced it, and it's really a really hilarious show. Definitely check out Community on Netflix if you haven't already. And if you know the Russo brothers, you know how important they are to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And if you know Community, you know that there's so many people from that show that are in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They have small parts, but they are in different movies throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's pretty cool to know that and see that and to see the connection of it. So definitely check out Community on there as well if you haven't already seen Umbrella Academy too. So I know that a lot of people are here for Walking Dead stuff, so let's talk about The Walking Dead. So The Walking Dead, Rob K says, Community was great. Mr. Chang was hilarious. Senor Chang is played by Ken Jeong, and he is hilarious. He does, it's so crazy over-the-top stuff, and it is pretty funny. So I don't know if people really, have seen Community or not, but definitely check it out. So let's talk about some predictions, thoughts, ideas, discussion topics of the season 10 finale. into the 6 episodes, what they could be, what they haven't seen, what they could be about too. So yeah, definitely Grape Tomato Girl. Check out. I haven't checked out Supermarket Sweep. I have to go check it out. Thanks for the tip. It's like, it's different eras. You can see the way they dress, the way they are. It's late 80s, early 90s, but it's entertaining. It's really hilarious. It's really funny. But season 10, episode 16 will be on television in about 2 months as we talk about this right now, right? So I personally think that the episode needs to be extended. It needs to be closer to an hour and a half. I don't know if they should just have like a long cut of it, right? Because, when they film, they have so much footage. They probably have so many minutes of footage. They cut it down to 42, 45, 48, 60 minutes of footage, right? So then we have to decipher what was, put in the episode. But this, they should have some time to do it, but I don't know if they are or not, because we have season 10, the finale, at 9 o'clock on October 4th, followed by Walking Dead World Beyond, season 1, episode 1, followed by Talking Dead. So there's a lot in there. So it may just be a regular episode of it. I know a lot of people are wanting to have it the longest episode ever, but it just needs to make sense too. So, hey Janie, how we doing? But I appreciate you guys being here, and I think that, and I really hope that the season 10 finale is fun, exciting, interesting, answers a lot of questions, sets some things up for the season 11, I guess, because if season 10C, season 10 and a half, those 6 episodes, if they're basically going to be filler bottle episodes, like, they didn't plan on this when they wrote season 10 episode 16. They wrote it, shot it, they completed it, had to do post-production, and then they were on to season 11 writing. They didn't have this time between 10-16 and 11-1. They didn't have an idea for anything, in between that. But my best guess is, and a lot of people are posting comments on there, like, if they're going to film stuff for the 6 episodes, why don't they just film season 11? And they're right. Why don't they? I think it's going to be because if you film an episode of The Walking Dead, right, a regular episode, a huge episode, you're going to have how many cast? Daryl, Carol, Maggie, Aaron, Father Gabriel, Rosita, the kids, RJ, Judith, Gracie, Jerry, Ezekiel, Yumiko, Kelly, Connie, so many characters, right? I can't even name them all. You have multiple sets, multiple locations, multiple areas, multiple things, right? Cast, crew, lighting, craft services, producers, writers. So many people are going to be on set. We're talking about hundreds of people. There's a pandemic of, COVID-19 going around right now. We're still in the midst of that. This isn't going anywhere, right? So if you are going to film an episode of that, and you're going to have all that, right? Makeup, hair, lighting, mic people, whatever. I don't even know. I don't even part of that. I don't even make stuff like that. But it's going to be a lot of people. And if you can have, 6 episodes, and each episode is going to have 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 cast members in every episode, right? That's 4 or 5 people. And if it's Father Gabriel, if he survives, he's got to worry about the eye and the makeup and this and the hair and the design, hair. I mean, and the wardrobe and everything like that for him. Plus Aaron, the hand, the makeup, the outfit, the clothes, everything. Daryl, basically just let him wear the same stuff and throw some dirt on him. That's Daryl. Carol, her hair, makeup, hair, whatever it is, scar, whatever for the character. Then you have whoever survives. Negan, Maggie, Hilltop, so it's going to be far less to shoot for a 4-character episode, 5-character episode with less people around. You're going to have to do testing. You're going to have to test everybody, cast, crew, everybody involved, right? So you're going to have so many people involved with that. Plus, where are you going to film it at? Are you going to film on the streets in Sonoy? Are you going to film on set where AMC owns the studio? My best bet is they're going to film in the studio. They're going to film at Hilltop. They're going to film it somewhere around that. It's going to be smaller people. The episode, you could have an episode where Maggie just goes back to Hilltop and there's a couple of people around there. And that's the episode. Maggie goes in the house. She sees this. She sees that. Or, I just don't know what they're going to do. It's a tough situation. But I do believe in Angela Kang. And you know what they could do too? The Walking Dead, they do a great job overall, but there are some things that we want to know more about, right? There are some areas that we do want to know more about, and they could go a little bit more in that. They could do a little deeper dive at Oceanside with Hilltop. Alexandria is kind of out in the open right there in Sonoy, but Oceanside and Hilltop are on set on the studio, so they could be there. They're on the studio controlled environment. Controlled environments matter, right? So if The Walking Dead starts filming around there and it's out on a street somewhere, people get wind of it, they go there. You could get hundreds of people there, right? And you could block it off and you could be far away and they could do that, but you don't want to have that. You don't want to have gatherings like that. That's kind of a bad situation, right? So I know a lot of people are thinking about, let me answer Xmas Girl's question. Do you think the bonus episodes are footage already filmed or just bonus footage of already seen episodes? I personally do not want to see like the director's cut or the folly or the blooper reel or the stupid things that they should have shot or they didn't shoot on there too. Like, I don't want to see filler stuff between that. I mean, that's kind of cool bonus material that should go on the Blu-ray or the DVD or stuff like that, or that's a separate thing where they could do that, for AMC special preview. That could be that. If these are supposed to be episodes that are between the season 10 episode 16 and a season 11, I don't want to see like filler stuff that's going to be there. I personally think that they're going to shoot stuff there with a smaller cast and crew and everything there too. So if you had a Daryl episode, if you had a Maggie episode, a Carol episode, Aaron episode, so-and-so episode, that's 4 or 5 episodes right there just thinking of different things. You could do it if people want to do it. I don't know what they want to do for it because they have said that it's not going to be season 11 material, which I believe is going to be a big part of Commonwealth. Connecting there. If Beta survives, you could have Beta surviving in the wood with some whispers and some walkers around there in the woods, but I don't know what they're going to do for 45 minutes of an episode. Maybe they're all going to be 40-minute episodes and, they're going to be kind of stretching it out, and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but people are going to watch, that's for sure. They love to premiere stuff in October and February, and they're still going to be able to do that with October and February dates. The summer is all messed up. That was a Fear the Walking Dead situation, but that's going to be in October now. We're going to have The Walking Dead, the season 10 finale, The World Beyond, and Fear the Walking Dead in October, November, and December. And I don't know if their plan was messed up because I doubt they started filming yet if they're going to do anything. But if they film anything in, if they have to wait a couple months, say if they have to film in October, November, December, even January to film the 6 episodes, or maybe or even the February. Maybe they have to film some different things there. It's going to be colder there for sure. They're not going to be able to film the same stuff in May because it was supposed to start May 4th, 2020 for season 11 filming versus October, November, December, January. It's far different. It's cold. It could snow. It's different camera. It's going to look totally different. When they had the winter episode, they filmed that in November. So it was, it was late fall months. So you could have that look that certain way for it. So you have the studio, you have different things around there. They have studios there too. So Pinewood Studios, they have different lots they could do there. So they could be able to film there. They could film anything they want at a studio. So I personally think they're going to film stuff. I just think they can elaborate on certain things. So I think that's the best bet for it. I just hope it works. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But we're going to see. We're going to watch. And I'm kind of glad that I'm not part of it because I don't know what I would do if you have to stretch out 6 episodes. And it's not like they have to stretch out a whole season. 6 episodes is not even half a season of The Walking Dead, but it's still a lot of material. It's still a good amount of stuff. But I just see them as bottle episodes that they'll film too. So Xmas Girl 304 Q&A. Do you want Beta's arc to end in the finale, or do you want him carried over to season 11? I kind of like to see him get away and get his comic death. Yeah, I personally think he should survive into season 11. I do like the idea of him being a threat out there, a la the Governor in season 4, Well, season 3 into season 4. And I think that's what they're going to do. The Walking Dead kind of does certain things in similar ways, and it's kind of a 1, 2, 3 trick pony where they kind of do certain things over and over, rinse and repeat, and they kind of set things up. But overall, I think that Beta needs to survive out there. We need to have a threat out there, right? So it's kind of laughable about how many walkers are still around, and there's so many people there, right? And I just brought it up in a video where you had Beta, played his record, and all these walkers came to him. They were coming from all over the United States. They were coming from so many states away, right? But how many walker hordes have we seen at the prison, at the right outside Alexandria? We saw at the quarry, at so many things. We saw so many of them, and maybe they were still around and still there, but a lot of those walkers got into Alexandria, and that was years ago. So many years ago, right? But the population, there's going to be new walkers all the time. Well, yes, okay. So say there's one body, right? So say a body goes on the ground, the walkers devour it, it comes back reanimated. That's one zombie, and one zombie, or one walker, another walker, another walker. How many times is that going to be done over 10 years in a zombie apocalypse? It's going to reach a certain peak, right? There's not going to be 8 billion walkers, and then 9 billion walkers, and then 10 billion walkers. There's only going to be a finite amount of walkers, right? So there's so many of that, and there's probably only going to be so many survivors. But over the 10 years, there would probably be less and less survivors. People would get sick, people would get bit, people would die, people would procreate. But so you have someone like Judith. She's 10 years old. I mean, that's not that capable of a person in a zombie apocalypse, too. So I don't know what's going to happen with it, but I just like the idea of the walkers just making a little more sense, especially the number of them. It just seems like there's just an exorbitant around on there too. Thank you for the super chat, XMScroll304. Beta lurking like Michael Myers behind the bushes. Exactly. Like kind of feeling like he's out there. And Daryl or Carol or Negan or somebody can't rest. Kind of like Michonne with the governor still being out there. It fits, right? So say Beta and the walkers and the whispers. Well, the walkers will still be around because we all know that, right? We all know the walkers are going to be around forever to the very end of the show. Then it's going to be like the walkers are a problem from day one, and then all of a sudden, we're done. The walkers are gone. We haven't seen a walker in forever. End of the show. Done. So we have Beta and the Whispers, right? Beta is controlling the Whispers. He runs the Whispers. If Alpha's gone, even though Negan is the new Alpha. So, so that's their Alpha. I kind of wish that was a twist that they took over an aspect of it where Negan became the Alpha of the Whispers, and that was uncharted territory. It wasn't done. And you could have done that on the show. They could have done whatever they wanted, but technically Negan is the Alpha, Beta, and I really hope, now just popped into my head, that Negan is the Alpha and Beta is Beta, and Negan has this little snarky line like, you better kneel to your Alpha. I'm the Alpha now, Beta, or something crazy, right? That would be pretty awesome. That needs to be done. It needs to be said, and we need to see Negan versus Beta. That needs to happen. But will it? We'll have to see. But back to Beta. So if Beta is taken out, no more Beta, no more Whispers. The walkers are really whittled down. They're still around, but they're really whittled down, right? What is the threat that's out there? Walkers? Not really. Our group should be so good at taking out walkers by now, it should not be an issue, right? 10 years into the zombie apocalypse, you should be used to the smells, the sounds. You shouldn't be, a walker should not be able to sneak up on you anymore. You should be so ready to take down a walker. People are the problem. So, the walkers will still be around. Beta's gone. Whispers are gone. What's out there? The Commonwealth is not really an issue like the Wolves or the Governor or Alpha or Negan and the Saviors, right? That's not really the same type of thing. After the Whisperer War, it kind of becomes a political thing of the Miltons and the Commonwealth and the soldiers that are kind of the military there at the Commonwealth, and Rick and the Saviors, and because the Saviors are still around, and Sherry and Dwight, and it's still that way for the comic. The show, if they get rid of Beta in the season 10 finale, which they don't need to, they can have him stick around for season 11. He comes around, gets his comic book death with most likely Aaron and Alden. I think that would make the most sense, but we'll have to see if they go that route. Because the show is the show and the comic is the comic. You know how we love that line, but it is a thing where it makes sense, where they could have that being, for the differences, or it could be the same. And they do have hit some big moments on the comic for the show. But if Beta's not out there and there's no threat of that, the Commonwealth turns into a political drama show of, can we trust the Miltons? Sebastian is terrible. He is the annoying, bratty child of Pamela Milton. He is a punk. He's going to be one of the most annoying people ever, kind of like the different people in Alexandria. So we don't really want to see too much of that again. I know I don't, so we'll have to see if they change things up and they make more of a villainous role for the Commonwealth for the show. Jeannie says, Q&A, are the walkers migrating toward the coast, and that's why we see so many? Do they decay slower than regular dead guys? Maybe because they are moving around. Well, those are great questions. And I think they're questions for Robert Kirkman or, Scott Gimple, Angela Kang, or Greg Nicotero. But I think that the walkers, they definitely decay and they break down at a slower rate than the average human would for some reason, right? But it's just interesting. When you see some of the walkers and you just see their rib cage and they don't really have soft tissue around there, I just don't know how they're alive. I just don't know how it would be. You chop off a head of a walker and the head's like, and it's still biting, that would still happen for a little bit, like a chicken, but it would eventually stop going because of the blood supply, the necrosis, the muscle function, the nerve function. It would all cease. And if they don't have that, then they can't have that. A virus, zombie apocalypse is debated if it's going to be fast zombies, slow zombies. Does it, make someone superhuman? Does it make someone super slow? Does it make someone, what does it do? Does it reanimate them for a long period of time? Are they hard to kill? You have to kill the brain or the brain stem or a certain part of it. Just a lot of questions for it. But I do feel like the walkers are kind of a thing that just will be debated forever. There's just no way to tell. I think they do migrate around, they do hoard up, but so how long, if the human body doesn't get water in 3 days, it's gone, right? Does that still happen with walkers? They don't drink water. They're like, oh, let me get some water. They have to bite flesh or, whatever. But after a while, there's not that many people around or animals around. What's keeping them around? And if there's no artificial sustenance or nutrition going into their bodies, they're just going to fade away. That's just how it would be, too. Mark asks, how many whisperers are there? They're never really touched on that. That's true. That's another great question, Mark. I don't know. That's a question that needed to be answered. Or it should have just been a little thing that they said, like, oh, yeah, we're up to 600 now, or 500 now, or 250 now. The comic edition of the Whispers is very dark. Very terrible stuff happens in the comic versus the show, and I'm glad they didn't do some of the stuff that they did in the comic for the show. On the comic for the show, what I'm talking about for stuff with Lydia. It just didn't need to be on the show. Even though I know a lot of people will be like, that would happen in a zombie apocalypse, and it's for sure what happened. But it's a fine line, that's for sure too. So, Rob K says, who would get Rick's comic death on the show? The first thing that jumps out at me is Aaron or Ezekiel. I just don't see that going to Daryl, right? And for those who don't know, the comic death of Rick, it's kind of like a weak death in my opinion, right? Because it's kind of one of those things where Rick is Rick. Rick's our guy, right? Rick's our superhero. He's our Rocky. He's our Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's our guy. He's our main focus. He's our main superhero. But isn't that Daryl? Or is it Rick? Or are they both, right? Is it Superman and Batman? Are they two different superheroes, but they're both superheroes? I think Aaron gets it. Or Ezekiel. That's a good fit too. Because it's going to happen at the Commonwealth. And I don't know if it's going to be, does Daryl actually go to the Commonwealth? Does Carol go to, do they actually get there? Because people from Alexandria go to the Commonwealth and the Commonwealth comes to Alexandria and they are seen there back and forth. But I just don't see, Rick was the diplomatic leader. He was the clear leader. He could talk things out. He could do things. He's a little more, gregarious with people, and he could do things in a political manner. You see Daryl doing that? No. I see Aaron doing that. I see Ezekiel doing that for sure, and I think that's what has to be for with that too. So Grape Tomato says, apologies, Bri. We're about to tackle some yard work, and before it gets awful hot, I'll keep the live going. Hubby has his mic on, so my volume will be down. Be well, stay kind, and blessings all. You too, Grape Tomato Girl. So good luck with the yard work. Don't get too burnt out there too. I know I was doing some yard work the other day, and after 5 minutes, I was like, man, I'm sweating like a pig over here, man. It's crazy. So be careful out there. Thank you for stopping in and being a part of it. Truly appreciate it, too. So, sorry. Saw some other questions here. Xmas Girl 304. It pressed that Judith is shocked by humans dying around her. How would you feel if the story was Judith takes out Beta to save Uncle Daryl and Negan? So, I would love to see Judith do something like that. And I think that people who like Judith would be like, yeah, Judith, that's my girl, right? But I don't know if that would be for everybody. Some people still have a hard time that she has Rick's gun and she can fire Rick's gun. I personally am okay with it. I don't really care about it too much, but I would love to see Judith. I hope Judith has some great big moments, and I hope it's Kaylee Fleming stays on the show for a long, long time, and I hope the story ends with Judith and she does some awesome things. If Judith saves Daryl and Negan, that'd be awesome, because there's only so many guns, there's only so many bullets, there's only so much ammo, there's only so much there too, even though I think that's kind of far-fetched. I'm not a gun guy by any means. I'm still learning about guns and ammunition and everything in regards to my book series, but I think you would be able to make bullets and ammunition, right? That's a big part of the story in the comic that was for the All Out War, but it didn't come back around in the Whisperer War. I kind of wish it did, right? So it's kind of one of those things that I don't know if it's ever going to come back around, if it's a big thing that they just kind of skipped over now, because there are some big movies or big parts of The Walking Dead that they had and then they never came back around to. So, I don't know. Janie asks, do you have a favorite tribute zombie? I don't know. I do like a lot of the different zombies, and it's pretty cool when you see them. It's not a tribute zombie, but my favorite zombie is going to be hard to beat is the well zombie, the well walker. I think that's pretty awesome, especially how they did it. And it got ripped apart, and it was pretty gross. It was pretty gross and gruesome. It's pretty awesome. I think that's gonna probably be my favorite one. But I do love the different ones from Day of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead, and I do love the different connecting points. And I hope they do that again. But if you think about it too, a lot of the walkers, they always have long sleeved shirts on. They're all dirty and dingy. They don't really have any designs on their clothes. Their clothes look like from their 1940s. They all have pretty much perfect teeth. I would think people's teeth would be falling out in the zombie apocalypse, let alone they were terrible to begin with too. I would assume that a lot of people that died in the zombie apocalypse were not the best people that took care of themselves, and usually dental hygiene is not the best for some of those people. So I don't know if people have that, but it's just easy to put fake teeth in and do that. And then some of them, if you look at the picture that I have for the thumbnail, you see the different walkers and you see the teeth, and some of them are missing teeth and some are doing this, and but some of the teeth are like perfect. Like, wow, those teeth are better than the human's teeth, But they do see the correlation. I think it's just skin breaking in a W pattern on the forehead. It's pretty cool because I love the idea of it being a callback to the wolves, and I love different Easter eggs, callbacks, connections. I think it's pretty cool stuff. I love seeing that, and I love when stuff comes full circle around. Mario 3 Q&A. Do you have any death predictions for Fear Season 6? Not really, because I have no idea what Fear the Walking Dead is going to do, right? My prediction is more like a want and a need rather than a prediction. I hope Jenny's gone. I hope Jenny dies in the second half of Season 6. That needs to happen. I don't know. I would be fine with Luciana going. I would be fine with a lot of the characters going besides Morgan, John, June. You have to keep Alicia or Strand. One of those two people need to be stuck around. I love Daniel. I don't know if he makes it or not. Dwight and Sherry, they need to stick around. I just think that is a show. On The Walking Dead, we lose people pretty much every season, whether they leave, the cast member leaves so they get killed off, or the character dies because of story or whatever. We've lost a lot of great characters pretty much every season, right? The Walking Dead has been known, kind of like Game of Thrones, for losing bigger characters throughout the series. It's definitely a thing that has happened. We lost different characters in season 1. Season 2, we lost Shane, Sophia. We lost different characters, the governor. We lost Herschel, Beth, Glenn, Abraham, Sasha, Jesus, Carl, Sadiq. Man, I'm just popping in my head. The Rick's gone from the show. Michonne's gone from the show. Man, it's just crazy. If Skidmark dies, we riot. That's true, man. Gotta love that Skidmark. Hopefully you saw the panel of Fear the Walking Dead where the Daniel actor, I'm blanking, I know it's Ruben Blades, he was talking about Skidmark, and he likes the cat, and he misses the cat, and he hasn't been able to see the cat. And the trainer, I guess the trainer of the cat, was getting mad at Ruben because he was feeding the cat treats, and the owner trainer is like, no, he needs to listen to me, and if you start doing that, he's going to start doing that to them. But it was pretty funny that he said it. That's said in the panel too. So. Kimberly Barner, Q&A, do you think maybe Negan, Carol, or even Daryl, someone important, will die because they could did the Talking Dead on Zoom again, because there must be something big to talk about, right? I don't see either of those three people dying. I don't see Negan, Carol, or Daryl dying for a long, long time, unless Negan goes away and he's not dead, but he's still alive, and he goes away to film later on in a year, 2, 3, or 4 to film Negan Lives. I think that would be pretty cool too. I think we're going to get a surprise surprise cast member on The Talking Dead when it returns, but I don't know if it's going to be them at all. I feel like we're going to lose Father Gabriel. I just see that being the best fit for the show, for the plot, for the story, for the arc, for everything. It just makes sense that we lose Father Gabriel, and we all know the curse of Rosita. It's a real thing, and that just makes sense to me. So ultimately, guys, I'm excited for October, right? I'm excited for cooler months. I'm excited for The Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead Season 6 looks good. The trailer looks good. But trailers are deceiving. Trailers are definitely not what is always going to happen on the show. If you don't believe me, go watch Season 6 Comic-Con trailer of The Walking Dead. And they mislead you so bad in that trailer, it's laughable. They're trying to have Morgan versus Rick, and it's a thing, and this and that. So definitely check it out if you haven't seen it, and it's been a while. And it's cool to go back and watch a trailer to see what happened, what was actually done in the season versus, the trailer. And I remember being so hyped for Season 4 of The Walking Dead. With the Terminus trailer. It wasn't the Terminus trailer. It was the trailer about this and that, and the car gets surrounded, and then Daryl's in the car driving I think it's a Charger, and he's driving, and it's on the radio, those arrive, survive. And you're like, whoa, what's that about? And it was Terminus, and there's a build up for it on there too. It was a great trailer. But, sometimes trailers are great. Sometimes they show you everything. Sometimes they mislead the crap out of you. They're like this and that. And sometimes you get to watch basically the whole movie in the trailer, right? So I don't know if that's what they're trying to do with Fear the Walking Dead Season 6, but it looks good. It looks much better than previous seasons. But I go back to the Walking Dead trailers. Season 7 had a great trailer. It was kind of weak. Certain trailers have been great, and the seasons have been crappy. So I don't know if it's a correlation or not, but it was just definitely something pretty interesting. Milatan Lekovic, do you think Ezekiel will die? I don't think so. I think if he was going to die, he would have died in the Pike lineup, and he would have been the major Pike victim lineup by the Whispers. I personally think Ezekiel is that political person that he can smooth and talk and has the gift of gab. And that's what we need to see at the Commonwealth story arc. Because I think Yumiko, Ezekiel, and Princess, and of course Eugene, they're going to be the 4 characters for the Commonwealth. And I think that dynamic was set up last episode in Season 10, Episode 15. It'll be extended a little bit further in the Season 10 finale, possibly in the 6 episodes. I doubt it, but maybe, something happens there. But I think it's a big thing that is going to happen with the Commonwealth story arc. And I think Ezekiel gets treatment for his neck, and he's all right. I think that makes sense to have Ezekiel stay alive more than it is to kill him off. And, Kari Payton is a pretty cool guy, and I think he's good for the show. Kimberly, Q&A, what do you think happened to Connie? Do you think Magna might have sacrificed her or tried to? That's a theory that I talked about many months ago, that the theory going around that Magna shamed Connie, like Shane took out Otis, so we made that a verb, shamed. I don't think so, because I don't want to see that happen. Too many people like Connie, and we already don't like Magna, right? Do you like Magna? I don't think Magna is good. I think Magna is far better in the comic. There's really nothing for Magna Magna has done that's been like, pretty good. I like that character. Not really. Connie, we like her. She's funny. She's entertaining. She's connected with Daryl and Dog, and I don't know. I just like Connie, and I don't want to see Connie go, and we don't really need any more reasons for Magna to do that. But I just, if you want to make Magna likable, you need to do something that she saves Connie and helps her, and she really feels bad for leaving her, and I think she did, and she was crying about it, and that's kind of a thing where we wish there was a little bit more to that. Like, they left out of they were in the cave, they were stuck in the cave, they were holding hands. Next thing you knew, they were among the dead, the walkers, and she lost her grip. Magna went into Hilltop, and Connie is yet to be found. But I would love to see Connie. I would love to see an episode of Connie where she was, all this time. That'd be a cool episode. I'd watch that. It would be a bottle episode for sure, but it wouldn't be any worse than the bottle episode in Season 7, Episode 6 when we saw Tara at Oceanside. So we'll see. That's an idea. But you never know. Extra Q&A with rumors that Michonne returns in Season 12. Could it be that Judith posts pics at Commonwealth looking for her mom? I still like my other theory, but I wanted to ask. X-Girl 304, I do think that would be... If they want to bring Michonne around the Commonwealth story arc, that would fit. I do like the idea of Judith putting that up there, but that doesn't fit the information that we have now, because Judith doesn't really know where Michonne is, and Judith doesn't know the Commonwealth could possibly connect Rick and Michonne and the Mountaineers that Michonne is with. We just don't know any of that connecting points. I do like the idea of that, and I haven't forgot about your video idea of your theory that Connie and Kelly are connected with that, and that Michonne's story arc of her child could go to that one of those characters, whether it's Connie or Kelly, in the Commonwealth story. I haven't just got the material together to make it, and I'll have a video about that, and I'll give credit too for Xmas Girl 304 for the idea and the theory for sure. But that's a lot of what ifs and questions and things, and I love talking about that, and I love the discussion of it. We just don't know which way they're going to go with it. I do think something could happen on the show for that, because that's a huge moment on there, right? But which characters are connected with kids that they lost? I mean, we've seen this group forever, and a lot of our group was in Alexandria for a while, so they wouldn't have kids there, and it just wouldn't fit. So I don't know if they're going to go that angle with Michonne. I really don't know where it's going to be, how Michonne fits. It's such an outlier with Rick and CRM and Commonwealth and the Mountaineers and Michonne's exit. I just don't know where it's going to go, but I love the ideas and the theories. I just can't wait to have it down the road for it. Oh, man, we lost connection. Hopefully we're going to come back. Oh, man. We had connection for a while. Oh, we're coming back. We're coming back. Hopefully we got like 6 more minutes. We can hopefully make it. I think we're coming back and connect for it too. So Jeffrey Brooks, what's up? So thank you guys for all being here. I'll go for another 5 minutes. And then I got to get on with the thing, with the day on Sunday, doing stuff around there too. But hopefully you guys saw, the different things for the different topic I talked about with the Commonwealth and everything. Hopefully it didn't cut out there. Sometimes it does. I don't know what actually made it through and what actually didn't for it, but you never know with these technical difficulties. And overall, I have to say the stream was pretty good. Sometimes I think we lost it twice so far, I think so. But ultimately, guys, hopefully you guys are safe and sound. I'll have another live stream back next weekend. Next Sunday. And, there's been a lot of talk of, the Rick movies. And then Andrew Lincoln wants to be a part of it, and he can't wait to be a part of it. And he's itching to be Rick Grimes, and it's going to be a different Rick, and it's going to be a different character. And Maggie's going to come back, and she's going to be a different character, and it's going to be a new character. And then Andrew Lincoln is going to be a part of this. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan wants to have a Negan Lives spin-off movie. Why not, right? And that's pretty cool, right? So if Negan lives, he has to live to be Negan Lives to be the spinoff, right? I know a lot of people are worried about Jeffrey Dean Morgan going to be in movies and different shows and different things and different like that too. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan can do it all. Jeffrey Dean Morgan can be a part of so many different things, and he's been a part of things. And Negan doesn't need to be the biggest character. After the Whisperer of War finale, season 10, episode 16, pretty much all the Negan story is done from the comic anyway. We already got the Maggie. We already got the situation with the Maggie Negan thing. We already got that in season 9. So it's definitely one of those things where what does the future hold for Negan? It could be a lot. It could be a little. But if it's a little, he can do other shows and movies plus do The Walking Dead. So it'd be pretty cool. Singer Chick, Brian, you're taking over Missouri for your Walking Dead love. So pretty cool. I would love to. I was in Missouri once, connecting flight from St. Louis. It was Oregon, Portland, Oregon to St. Louis, Missouri to Tampa was my layover. I didn't get to see any of the city or anything, but hopefully you guys are being safe and secure and sound there. That's one of those things where, it's crazy all over this United States, let alone world. I know a lot of people that watch this are from outside the United States, and I always love talking and hearing people outside the United States. And, I'm an East Coast guy. I'm from New Jersey, moved down to Florida for college, for grad school, different part of the state. But I do love all parts of the country and different parts of it too, Hopefully you guys will be safe and secure with this hurricane, tropical storm, I don't even know what they call it. Isaias. I'm not even sure what the actual name is, but it's definitely a weird name to pronounce. But it should be coming up on Florida now because I see the weather is starting to get a little more breezy here. And I'm on the other side of the state. So I know that the hurricane tropical storm is going to be in the water and at the outskirts of it, but it's going to skirt around. So if you're in South Carolina, North Carolina area, hopefully you'll be safe and, take it serious. Hopefully it's nothing. Hopefully it's not too bad. But if you're in the flood zone, take it serious. Xmas Girl 304 Q&A. What main character could you see exiting to go help Michonne to find Rick, bring him home? My first inclination is Daryl. I think Daryl is connected with Rick. I mean, they're brothers. They definitely are a big part of it. And once Daryl finds out about Rick, he's got it. Because the only two characters that went to go look for Rick, which is crap, by the way, that we saw, was Michonne and Daryl. They're the only two people that cared about Rick enough to keep looking and keep looking and keep looking and never find the body, but keep looking and keep looking forever, right? So I think it just has to be Daryl. And if Beta gets taken out and the Whisperers are gone, the Walkers are manageable, what's the future hold for that? To go find Rick and Michonne. And maybe CRM is the next villain after Whisperers. And the Commonwealth is not a villain, but CRM is. You know how my theory about CRM being a villain is? For sure. So, but, thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. I can't say it enough. You know, it's really one of those things where I do love talking about The Walking Dead, but I do love talking about different things. So before that, if you guys are joining me now, if you have Netflix, check out Umbrella Academy. Season 1 and Season 2. Definitely recommend it. If you do like, I recommended before, I don't know when Animal Kingdom is coming back. That's a TNT show. If you like that show, definitely check out Kingdom on Netflix. Not The Kingdom or the zombie show Kingdom. It's the mixed martial arts show on Netflix, and it's pretty cool stuff, and it's kind of got that same California feel to it, and it's pretty interesting for it too. So thank you guys for being here. I truly appreciate it. Last one for Wilson, my guy Wilson. Q&A. What do you think Virgil will do when he catches up with the group? I think Virgil coming back is the only true way for Virgil to be there, is for him to tell them about Michonne, Virgil being the connecting point with our group and Michonne, and then Judith breaks down, gets upset. It's like, I didn't want to tell you because I didn't want you to leave, and I'm sorry, but I didn't want to do this, and it's okay, and we feel bad for Judith, and Judith has that crying moment because we love her, and Judith's great, but Virgil is the one that comes back, tells our group, and they go out, and they go find Rick, movies, CRM, battles, revolution. Let's do it. Thank you, guys. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, Winter, for becoming a level 2 PT Peep. Thank you, Xmas Girl, for my super chat. Or our super chat. Appreciate it. And remember, guys, with hard work, dedication, belief, and sacrifice, you can truly achieve your goals. Believe in yourself. You can do it. It's about love, support, staying positive, staying safe, and making memories. Stay true to yourself. You can do it. You got to block the haters out. Keep motivated. Keep inspiring. You can do big things. Thank you, guys. Stay safe, and I love you guys.